Purslane is the plant you are looking at right now in this pot. And since I moved it to the shade, it's like laying down now. Purslane is in the Portulaca family. It is actually a succulent, and it looks like it's like growing straight up. It kind of is in this pot, but usually purslane will like grow low to the ground. It usually gets no taller than 6 inches. And a lot of people call it pigweed or common purslane. There's other words for it too. I don't remember all of them. It's a succulent, so when you touch it, it feels very smooth. The stems can be like a pinkish color. If you look down lower, they kind of have a pinkish color as they get older, pinkish red. They're very smooth. The leaves are also just like a succulent. They're smooth, and it grows its stems, and like the leaves and stuff, they grow on the end of, like if you look, mainly they're all at the end of the stem. It also produces, like right now, if you look really close, it's got a little bud on there, so it's about to bloom. The flowers are yellow, and they're usually 5 petal. They're really small flowers. I can't show any right now because they're not blooming yet, but this awesome plant, it oftentimes will grow in between cracks, and it can even grow in like really poor soil. It does prefer better, moist soil, but you can find this like growing in the city between the sidewalk cracks, just in disturbed areas, meadows, just pretty much everywhere. It does prefer sun, and the flowers will not they will not open if they're not in the sun. A lot of times it won't even bloom if it's in the shade. But I usually let this plant grow in my pots. Like this one just like reseeded in my pot, so I just let it go. It's an annual, but like I said, it reseeds pretty much everywhere. I usually have to pull this out of my flower beds in the front yard because it likes to grow and spread. And so one of my favorite things about this plant is you can literally pick the leaves off and you can eat it raw. It has like a salty taste. I actually prefer the taste raw. Some people cook it. Because it's a succulent though, it'll get kind of slimy, and I don't prefer that texture, but some people do. I don't. I like to eat it raw. I like to throw it in a salad or just eat it raw. One of the amazing things, it's high in antioxidants and minerals and vitamins. It's high in fiber as well. So omega-3s are something that if you need to increase your omega-3s, this is a great plant to consume because it's very high in omegas. It's a plant that also has high pectin content, so a lot of people use this to lower their cholesterol. This little plant, y'all, can you believe that? It's used in diabetes. It can improve serum insulin levels. Great for fungal infections, so if you're dealing with athlete's foot or jock itch, even ringworm. And the C word. And if I say this, they'll probably take my post down. So good for, the C word. Because of the high omega-3 content, people have used this in treating, that word. Another one of my favorite things that this plant is good for is asthma. And when I was researching this plant, I had no idea that it was used in asthma or other bronchial issues. So they found that people who eat this daily, who eat the purslane raw or they use purslane extract, that it showed an improvement in like pulmonary function. So that is super awesome because it has a bronchodilatory effect on the lungs. So it like opens the airways, which is really cool because I have a child that struggles. He used to struggle with asthma. So it's good to know that when I'm eating a salad with purslane, that we're getting those benefits and those omegas and all the vitamins and minerals in this plant. So Don't pull this up. If you see this in your yard, do not pull it up. Let it grow. Maybe even try to put it in a pot and let it spread. Amazing, amazing little plant. And I encourage y'all to get out, in your yard, forage and look and see what you have, because you never know what's growing in your yard that you can use medicinally or just as, to increase your nutritional intake of vitamins and minerals. And I will show you, I don't know why they're considering this a lookalike. I don't think it looks anything like Purslane. But they're saying this plant, and if you look at it, it looks totally different than Purslane. They're calling this spurge. And if you were to come across this plant, the stems are much thinner. It's not even a succulent. So when you feel this plant, it feels nothing like a succulent. The stems are much smaller. I went ahead and pulled this all the way up so you guys could take a look at it. But they're calling this spurge. So before you forage, look up spurge and compare the two. They look really nothing alike. But maybe for a beginner, this plant might stump them. So I'm just showing you. This plant is called spurge, and it grows all over my yard. It's all in my flower beds, and it's poisonous. So make sure you know the difference. And this is Purslane. I mean, look at the difference. You can see how much larger the stems are, and the leaves are so much bigger because it's a succulent. So, I mean, know your plants. And if you're not 100% sure, don't consume them. I mean, that's just good advice, right? All right. I hope this was helpful, you guys. So go out in your yard and see if you have any purslane growing.